This video will show you how to create a basic elbow model. Click Create and select Document, and on the document name type Elbow Model. Click OK. Start a new sketch. Select the front plane and then hide the top, the front, and the right planes. Right-click, View Normal to Sketch, or press the letter N on your keyboard. Select the corner rectangle and start drawing from the origin. Select Dimension and dimension the long side to 6 inches and the height, set the height to 1.5 inches. Select the center point circle and draw a circle around this area. Select Dimension and dimension the circle to 0.5 or half an inch. Select the center of the circle and select the top edge, and we want that to be centered at that 1.5. So the center of 1.5 is 0.75, or you could just type 1.5 slash or divided by 2, so you don't have to do that math in your head. So that comes out to 0.75. And then next, select that center of the circle and this edge and type the same thing, 0.75. Now that this sketch is fully constrained, click the check to accept, right-click, isometric, and then select the extrude. Click on this face of the sketch and then type 0.25 or 1/4 of an inch. Click the check to accept the extrude. So now you have the first part. It's named here as part 1. Let's rename that by right-clicking, clicking rename, and then type arm. Start a new sketch and click on this face of the arm and then right-click, view normal to sketch. Now select the use project convert to select this circle. Now you have a projection of this circle. You don't have to draw it manually. So click check, then right-click isometric. Select extrude, click on the circle, not the rectangle, and then you want to reverse the direction. And since the depth of this arm is 0.25, we want to double that, so that'll be 0.5 or half an inch. And then make sure that you have new part, not add. So yours might be an add. You want to select new. And then when you do that, you'll see that there's a second part coming out. So click check. And as you can see, you have a new part, and we'll name that pivot. So right-click rename and then type pivot. So now we're done with our part Studio 1. Now we go to the assembly. Now in the assembly, we want to click insert, and we want to insert the arm twice. So click the arm 2 times, 1, 2, and as you can see, I've inserted 2 objects, and then click on the pivot once, and I inserted 3 objects now. Click check. Okay, zoom out, and then click on one of the objects and you'll see that they are movable. Okay, and then here is the origin point. We want to fix one of the objects at least on the origin. You need to rotate your view so that you could see the bottom part of it, and then click anywhere at the bottom part. This thing called the triad manipulator shows up, and you want to drag that to the center. And as you notice, okay, as I drag it, it just changed orientation. I could just release my mouse, okay, and then click again, and then just move it. So when I made that movement, it just went to the center right away. Okay, so now you need to right-click and then say move to origin, and that will move this arm to the origin point. So now right-click on the object and say fix. What we just did is now we fixed this in place. So when I try to move it, you get that sign, that symbol right here, meaning it's fixed. You cannot move it anywhere. Unlike this two, I could still move them. So right click isometric. And the next thing we want to use is a Fastened Mate. So click on Fastened Mate and then click at this surface and you'll see the mate connector showing up. And then select this mate connector here. So let me zoom in. You could actually go and get different mate connectors like that, but you want this mate connector here. And then now these two are flushed. The surface of the pivot is flush to the surface of this arm. If it didn't do that, you might need to reverse the direction like this. But if it already did it, there's no need for you to click on that button. And then now click the check. And now you'll see that this part is now fixed to it. So I cannot drag it out. So go back to isometric so that you could see what you have so far. And then the last thing that you need to do is click on Revolute Mate. Go to the back of your model. And then click on the pivot point like this. Okay, as you can see, I could select different mate connectors, but I want this particular mate connector. And then on the back side of the other arm, I want to select that mate connector right there. Not different mate connectors, but that specific one. And then click check. Now you'll see that they're connected. The only difference is this one could actually revolve around the pivot point. Okay, so now we need to right click on Revolute and click Animate and then just play it with the start value of 0 and an end value of 360 degrees. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that's the movement. And then it reciprocates, which means it plays back the opposite direction after. So I'm going to stop here. As you can see, it's about 195.6 degrees. We really want it to start at 180 degrees. So let's see what happens. And we want to stop it at a certain angle, which is 45 degrees away from your bicep. So the revolution or the angle for a complete circle is 360 degrees. If we are going to subtract 45 degrees here, that would be 315 degrees. So let's try that movement now. And you'll see that we have the movement of the arm. So it moves to about 180 degrees and then it actually flexes and then reaches about 45 degrees angle from the upper arm. Okay, so let's stop. And that's your work for today.